you. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are listening, however you are listening. Thank you for tuning in to episode 37 of the 101 podcast, where everyone is entitled to their own wrong opinion. I am your host, the Cuban Cowboy, Mr. Good Call Vinnie Paul, and joining us for episode 37 of the 101 podcast, he is new to the comedy scene. He is a seasoned thespian, and he is currently on the new season of The Big Break. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the 101, Mr. Jared Lucier.
Hey, what's up, everyone? How you guys doing? Woo! Happy to be here, Vinnie.
Yeah, well, I wish I could say the same.
Yeah, you know, when you have those up-and-comers up on your show, you know, I'm sure you get a lot bigger names than me, you know. So.
Hey, you may be up-and-coming in one area, but trust me, my friend, you are seasoned in many others, and that's what we want to talk about today, because the 101 highlights all sorts of people. I want to talk a little bit about you. Now, you're currently on The Big Break.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Now, The Big Break, in case anybody out there doesn't know, is a reality show where, and correct me if I'm wrong, where actors who are pursuing this as a future and a career can audition in front of millions of people.
Yeah. I mean, I think you pretty much nailed it. Yeah. So basically, yeah, The Big Break is the guy who produced. His name's Andy. He had this vision because America's Got Talent. You know, there's America's Got Talent. There's American Idol, but there's never like this one big like show for actors and writers. Okay. And so that was kind of the vision behind the whole thing, is to give up and coming actors an opportunity to showcase and work with industry professionals. I got to work with members of the SAG union. And it was a great experience. I learned so much from it. Yeah.
And for those of you that do not know, SAG does not stand for Studious Anal Gay.
No, it does not.
No, it stands for Stupendous Anal Gay. That's
yeah.
what it stands for. No, it is SAG. SAG-AFTRA. Their building is on Wilshire on the Miracle Mile over in Mid-City. So if you guys get a chance, go check out that. And the La Brea Tar Pits, although I don't like the phrase the La Brea Tar Pits. Why? Because the word the is in La Brea. La means the, and Brea means tar. So when you say the La Brea Tar Pits, you say the Tar Pits. So on The Big Break, how many episodes are you on? Are you allowed to say how far you've gotten? I know I'm sure it was all pre-recorded, but kind of tell us about that experience. What's it like being on a reality show and making it?
It was kind of hard for me actually, because like at least I personally like to think I'm a really nice person. You know, I'm not an asshole. You know, yeah. Roll your eyes and all that. You know,
I don't have enough eyes to roll right now.
But no, like, you know, a lot of those people you see on reality shows have these like really like over the top personalities, and they love starting drama, where I'm like the complete opposite of that. So having to like record like confessionals and things like that, I was like always trying to keep it like upbeat and happy. And the producer's like, no, Jared, you know, like really talk about your struggles and like what's going through. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm having a great time, you know, working with everyone.
I'm enjoying this.
I'm having a good time.
Complicate things.
Yeah, especially, you know, with COVID and everything like that. This was actually one of the first things I applied to. I'm from New Hampshire, so I moved out here a couple months ago in August.
Wait, you're from New Hampshire on purpose?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I know New Hampshire. That's where they put. That's where the only way to have safe sex in New Hampshire is to put signs on the animals that kick. That's right.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
I've never been there, but yeah. All right. So what's kind of the is there? Okay, so go back to Big Break. We'll keep going on Big Break. We'll get to New Hampshire later. I'll roast you in 10 minutes.
So basically all it is, every week there were people who auditioned, they would submit it and they'd post their videos on Instagram and stuff like that. And then every week there would be the judges selection, which the judge is a member of SAG, you know, well-known like director or actor. And then there was one viewer's choice. So the people would comment and vote. And I actually was the season 5 viewer's choice. I rallied the troops. I got a bunch of people, all of my friends from college and high school, to support me. And it was very, it meant a lot to me just to see how many people were there to support me in my career decision. So that was great for me. But yeah, I got to work with this guy named Kevin Brief. He was on Supernatural. He's on an episode of Big Bang Theory. And it was really great. I learned so much from the experience. It was a good time, but yeah, it's not like Big Brother or anything like that. It's more of like a bunch of actors working together to kind of like create art and get discovered.
All right, now wait. This isn't The View, so you have to say more than "Oh, I learned stuff and I
Right.
grew." You got what did you learn? What have you learned? What are you learning? And because learning is good, anybody can
Right.
take a piece of information in, but how are you applying it practically? How are you recycling the information and the knowledge that you gain?
Yeah, well, for sure. One of the big things that my director Kevin talked to me about when I first did it was he's like, Jared, I feel like you're holding stuff back. You know, I feel like you're being a little timid with me, and that's because I was super nervous. You know, this is one of my first things that I had done when I was out here in California, and so he was like, be bold. You know, be bold. And so I took that to heart. You know, I'm a bigger guy, so I naturally take up room, and my natural habit is just kind of make myself smaller. You know, like I don't want to man spread. I don't want to take up too much room on the couch.
Man,
Um, yeah, man. Man's one of my housemates, Nick. He takes up like a whole couch. Like I don't know how he
I
does
have
it.
no idea what that means. I might just have to give it a goog.
Yeah, you might have to give it a goog, man. You know, whenever you need some more info, give it a goog. But
So
yeah,
you
yes. So yeah, as like a bigger guy, I have to embrace the fact that I'm a bigger guy, and really be bold and big with my actions, and really use the fact that I'm a little heavier, to my advantage, because when you nail that physical comedy as a big guy, like the big, like like Jack Black,
yeah.
that when you're able to have that energy as a big guy, people love it, people go
I
crazy.
feel like somewhere in our conversations, you and me have had this same back and forth.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the big break,
Yeah.
what's the prize? What happens? Do you get a contract with SAG, or are people just saying, "Come do my film, come do my commercials"? What's the result of the competition?
So yeah, the result, there isn't like a big prize. I'm not gonna win like $50 million for being an
Well,
asshole.
you get a lot of exposure. I
Yeah,
mean,
no, that
you're on constantly on multiple episodes, so people see your face and you gain recognition.
exactly, and honestly, that is the biggest thing for me, and just getting out there and being able to work with industry professionals and be able to pick their brains, being like, what worked for you when you were up and coming, what's something that that you wish you had known back then, and so being able to pick their brains and the exposure, like I've already had some people have expressed interest in me, and they're like, the next time I'm doing something that has a role for you, I'm gonna call you up. So there's definitely been a lot of exposure, and I got to meet a lot of really cool people.
And of those really cool people, are any of them ladies or whatever sex you prefer?
Yeah,
Donkey, horse,
yeah,
moose.
yeah. It's we're really big into geese. Geese is the kind of, in New
I
Hampshire we
saw
got.
that clip. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
So, you like geese because after one night stand, they just fly away.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, they're one of those. What's so birds are categorized by how they fly. So there's totally flightless birds,
Right.
there's somewhat flightless birds, there's semi-flightless birds, and then there's birds that can fly.
There's
So
somewhat and semi. What's the difference between
somewhat and
those?
semi. I don't know. There's a guy you know the guy who did Cash Cab.
I know who you're talking about, but
Okay, so
yeah,
he did a badass hour-long HBO special. I don't care much about him for the show, but that hour-long HBO special was amazing. And sometimes he just needs that one hit, and that's good. He's fine. But he talked about the aviary ranks,
yeah, yeah.
aviarian ranks.
A very
I sound like ovarian ranks. It's
ovarian,
like,
yeah,
oh, how many eggs do I have left? Papa, boom, boom. But he talked about the aviary ranks, and he listed like semi-flightless, flightless, totally flightless, and
yeah.
non-flightless. And the categories are completely stupid. So the dodo bird would be non-flightless. The
Right.
goose, or a plethora of gooses would be geese, would
Yeah.
be categorized as semi-flightless because when they fly, they only fly for a certain period of time. They have a max height they can reach, and they can't swoop and soar.
Right.
So the big break, you don't win any money.
No, don't win any money.
You don't get anything out of it except for experience, which
Yeah.
for actors, singers, musicians, performers, entertainers, experience doesn't pay the bills, but it is good. Experience is good. That's how you get your chops. Now, as an entertainer, I know that every time I get up on stage, it doesn't matter if I'm doing music, comedy, acting, puppeteering, I get stage fright. That 90 seconds before I know that the show is about to start, the guts start bubbling, and I get nervous. Is that the same for you?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I have to pee at the top of every single show. Whether I had peed 15 seconds before, as soon as I'm lining up like for a theatrical production, as soon as I'm ready to like enter for my scene, I always have to go to the bathroom just because I don't know, it's some sort of like nervous
That's
thing
the
for me.
gear. That's the gear you
Yeah,
get
yeah.
when you
But I
get
also
ready.
yeah, but I also like ride that kind of like as my adrenaline, like my motivation is like, oh, once I do this scene, I can go to the back and get some sweet relief. But yeah, I still get nervous, especially
I think
especially
that's what keeps us humble. I think when we
yeah.
get too comfortable and we don't, or we just brush it off as, oh, it's another Tuesday. No, it's a show. You are out there. People want to see you. It's like having somebody into your home, being their host, and not treating them as your guests.
Yeah, I think, and it's a good thing. It shows that you care. If you're nervous about a production or nervous about a performance, that means that you want it to be a good performance. And you're nervous that it's not going to be. So it just shows that you care about the product and the art that you're creating.
I agree. And uh, Jared, on a non-transitional note, because we don't
Yep.
do transitional material here, we're just going to change the channel on you. We're going to go from listening to La
Like,
Raza Mega Mundial into K-Rock. Okay. So, so you've got the big break going on,
right.
and you're just starting comedy. Tell us what comedy was like in New Hampshire, if there was some. Did you try it in New Hampshire, or did you wait till you got to LA to try it? Talk about your transition into comedy, because you and I had a conversation about it, and I kind of want to go a little deeper.
Right. Yeah. So, I actually my background is with acting and performing like that, and then in college I did a lot of sketch comedy and improv. And based off of that, I've always been a really big fan of stand-up comedians. Like John Mulaney is one of my all-time favorite. I started Gabriel Iglesias was the first comedian I ever watched.
Fluffy.
Yeah, we love Fluffy. Me and my mom. I've seen him live. He's great. But I just love the way he was able to like command the audience. He's another one of those bigger guys too. So it was he embraced the fact, he made jokes about the fact that he was a bigger guy. He didn't care.
A lot of the bigger guys, they usually use physical comedy. He did not.
Yeah.
He
No.
did voice impersonations.
Yeah.
He did the bimbo girl doing the drive-through.
Yeah.
The bit about, oh, I'm gonna order the French fries.
Yeah.
And then he comes to the window and they don't expect it. Like that bit, I love.
Yeah. I love
He
that.
doesn't do physical. Now, do you do physical? Do you do any impersonations?
Yeah. So, or I don't really do like physical. I don't do physical impersonations. I have some vocal impersonations.
Okay.
Yeah, but like a lot of my impersonations like aren't ones that I would like necessarily go up and like do at a stand. So I can do Louis Armstrong and I can do Barack Obama, which obviously I'm not gonna just go up randomly and start doing Barack Obama plays. Like, oh, look
You
at this.
must remember this.
Yeah.
A kiss is just a kiss. Ooh.
Yeah, and it's like they're like, oh, we don't want this, white honky from New Hampshire acting like Obama.
Yeah, but you can pull off that you're from just about any state from the Midwest to the East. As long as you're above Texas, Arizona,
right?
Stay above the Mason-Dixon, we believe you. I trust you. So you're new to comedy. What made you want to start just being a stand-up comedian? Because being a stand-up comedian is completely different than being an actor. And being an actor, sure, you have soliloquies and there's all these moments where you have to stand and deliver, but comedy is completely different. It's just you, whatever device you're speaking into. So I know some comedians do the lavalier, but it's a lot more what's the word, where you're vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because it's just you. You don't have anybody that's going to come pick up your wig if it falls down and then run off with the end of the scene and then wait for the lights to come. No, it's you. You have to pick up your own wig. You have to find a way to make it funny. Why'd you do comedy? And do you see yourself as an 87 or 92-year-old person doing comedy? Are you going to continue?
I mean, as of right now, yeah, I'm totally down. It's
You're on the path.
Yeah, I'm on the path. I'm gonna ride. Maybe I'll take some trips off the path sometimes, but I want to stay on the path. I mean, comedy is just a big part of my life. I mean, I kind of use that, as like a defense mechanism. All right, like growing up, I used to use comedy as a defense mechanism a lot. And just part of that, I love bringing joy to people, because I know when I'm sad, like I'll listen to my favorite comedian, or I'll listen to like a funny improv bit, and it cheers me up. So getting up there and being able to, like, maybe someone out in the crowd has had a rough day today, and maybe me making them laugh, cheers them up a little bit. But it's definitely, it is a very surreal and terrifying. Like, I get more nervous going up to do stand up, because you're right, it's just you and the mic in the audience. That's all it is up there. And at least where I am in, like, in my career right now, is I'm writing all of my own jokes right now. So like when I go up and I say a joke and no one laughs and no one thinks it's funny,
there's no one else to blame.
There's no one else to blame. You can't just like, oh, it was that bitch Becky over there, one of those supporting actresses. It's all just me.
Yeah, nobody dropped the line. It was Jared. It was
all Jared. It's just Jared not being funny.
and I've seen your comedy routines, and you say it brings you joy. I just wish it could bring me joy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I gotta razz you a little bit.
I'll get there.
Put them up. Hey, by the way, the last set that you did, I know I gave you commendations on it, and it was highly lauded. But again, I don't know what you took to heart from what we said, but keep on that track, my friend. That's your moneymaker.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely gotta, like, because my background is from theater and acting, and I gotta incorporate that, because that's stuff that I've studied and I've trained and I'm really good at, and it's something that I'm comfortable with. So if I can incorporate that more into my stand-up set, I think I can go a long way.
Stage presence, my friend. You've had it, and you've had it before, and just like one of your influences, Chris Farley, have stage presence.
Yeah.
You know where you are. You know what's around you. You know what you can use. Because sometimes I've seen you do routines, but other times I've seen you just spitballing, and you're just saying, hey, look at this cup over here. How can I use this cup? Make sure I grab it the right way and put it down before I let my hand go of it.
Yeah. I mean, everything is just like, everything, like, comedy there's just like structure to it. There's ways you can build people up and, build the tension to people, and then they have to release it somehow. So they release it through laughing. It's kind of like scientific in a way. But yeah, for sure. It definitely is. But yeah, I grew up watching Chris Farley, and Chris Farley, like, that kind of, like, me being a big guy. Like, I remember watching, like, the Chippendales thing where he's just dancing with Patrick Swayze. Patrick Swayze, who was like the Hollywood heartthrob at the time, did Dirty Dancing, everything like that. You see sex appeal standing next to Chris Farley, But the thing, Chris Farley was keeping up with him the whole time, he didn't care. He was going for it. And I thought he looked better than Patrick Swayze, honestly.
Well, it was definitely more entertaining than Patrick Swayze.
Oh, for sure.
Expect a good-looking person to move smoothly. But when you have somebody that's not in what they call a fit state, and they're doing the same things, it not only says that those people can meet them and match them, but it's more entertaining to watch. To see somebody that, like, I hate to reference this, but to think about the Special Olympics.
Yeah.
When you think those people and all the hardships that they have can still compete like that, it's a lot more impressive than somebody that's more physically able.
100%. And that's what draws a lot of people to like Chris Farley, is just, the whole Matt Foley skate. He dives through a table in the middle of that skate.
They didn't practice that. They didn't.
And he's just, he was unapologetically himself, and that's what I loved so much about him.
So when and if you do, what kind of physical humor will you incorporate? Will it be that clumsy lug, or will it kind of be the unsuspecting, like the Jack Black, like you say, like somebody that's really graceful, that can dance and do a lot of delicate things?
I mean, I think it all depends on, like, because I would love to be able to do both, and I feel like I have a pretty good groundwork on both. I did clown for a little bit when I was in college, or I did red nose, so I got to, wear red nose and do, like, we had to do scenes without saying anything. And I remember I acted out like, I had Febreze and I was spraying my room around, and then a thought popped in my head, and I looked at my armpit, I sniffed my armpit, looked at my imaginary Febreze bottle, and then just sprayed it right under my armpit, and the class lost it. Yeah. But I think whatever the situation calls for, I would love to be able to, because I also I took dance for a long time, so I have that kind of surprising grace to me. I did tap for a bit, and I did musical theater like all my life, so I got experience from that.
All right. Well, here I'm gonna pitch you a
All right.
short because you do some comedy sketches. So here's your short.
Okay.
Okay. So you're graceful as
Right.
a big man already. That's gonna sell. Okay.
Right.
So you do a scene where maybe like a dance competition, like the scene from Greece where Vince Fontaine was hosting the gala.
Yeah.
So maybe you're the radio host and you're the unsuspecting person, and then here's your arc. All these other beautiful people are dancing. You're the off-putting guy with the microphone, and then you just drop the microphone, hand it to the person with the camera who's recording the night, and dance with some of the most beautiful women in the room.
Right.
And then trip on your ass and fall.
Right.
Because you got to have the.
Yeah, you got to have that.
Here, you were here. Oh, you know what? Humble pie.
Yeah, you gotta have that button at the end.
I pitch people all these ideas on the show. You know how many of them get used? No. Every single one of them. For the purpose of this podcast, every single one of them.
All of them.
So in case anybody needs a ghostwriter out there, just let me know. Spend 45 minutes with me in a Zoom room. I guarantee I'll sell you something. So doing comedy, stand-up comedy. You also have a sketch group. And let me see if I get this right. It's called Thanks Mom Comedy.
Yes, Thanks Mom. So Thanks Mom Comedy is
it still going, or is that passed?
No, it's still going. So it's actually headed by two of my really, really great friends from college, Lauren Dietzel and Laura Brown. Both
Lauren Dietzel.
Yeah, Lauren. Yeah, Lauren Dietzel. She's a Pasadena native. They're really, really funny people, and they were really good friends in college. They worked together and created this sketch comedy group that they did stuff in college, but then they kept it up after, and they call me in for sketches. So I've done a few sketches. The most recent one was I did a nativity play. It was around Christmas time, and so they wrote this sketch about like a bunch of kids doing like the Bethlehem scene, the nativity scene.
The nativity play.
Yeah, the nativity. I'm Jewish. I'm sorry. It's
on purpose?
But believe it or not, on purpose. Yeah. Or I mean, I guess I didn't really have a say. I was just kind of born into it. Is anyone Jewish on purpose? I don't know.
Well, you did have a say in it. It's just that you're in a Jewish family, so somebody spoke over you.
Yeah, exactly. It was probably my mom.
Imagine that, a Jewish mother who's outspoken.
Yeah, I know, right? I'll believe it. But yeah, so I did a nativity play. I got to play a kid who was playing a cow. I had like 2 lines. I forgot one of the lines the first time.
What was the line you forgot? Moo?
Ba.
Ba. Oh, before we go any further, I got a joke for you.
What?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting cow.
Interrupting cow.
Moo!
All
right, keep going. Nativity play. You're Jewish. Anti-Semitic. Christmas story,
yeah. But yeah, they do a lot of work in sketch comedy and stuff, and they're great. They're wonderful, and yeah, you should definitely check out Thanks Mom Comedy on YouTube. They have a lot of really funny sketches.
I just included the link for the nativity play up in the chat. So for those of you who are watching, this is episode 37 of the 101 podcast, where everyone is entitled to my own wrong opinion. I am the Cuban Cowboy, your host, Mr. Good Call Vinnie Paul. Joining us for episode 37 is the very funny Mr. Jared Lucier. He has curlier hair than I do. You can't see because the cowboy shit that's going on right here. But I swear, if there were monkeys in the zoo, they'd be swinging from his trees.
Yeah, I can fit 22 pencils in my hair.
What? And the 22. Fact that you know that, and you could, I don't care if it's made up or not for the point of this show. Ladies and gentlemen, Jared Lucier, what are your other 2 wishes?
My other 2. I was a really weird kid in high school. That's why, I'd get bored in my math class,
I got bored with pencils also in school, and I have proof of it in this hand right here, which mirrored looks like the right, but it is in factually the left. Have you ever seen those little milk jug juice boxes? They look like a barrel and they have a tinfoil lid on them and they have fruit juice, blue, reds, greens,
Oh,
and
yeah,
yellows.
the ones that you'd always bring to like cookouts for like
Yeah,
kids
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So I wanted to prove to my fifth grade class at the lunch table that I could take a number two pencil, take it and stab through both the outside edges of it at one time. Oh, I'm big shit. I'm 10 years old. Look what I can do. I can stab a pencil into plastic. What actually happened was I stabbed the pencil through both sides of the plastic. The tip of the number two pencil got stuck right here in my hand and has been stuck there ever since for the last insert young age number of years here. And I still have a little blue speck of where the lead has been implanted into my palm.
Jeez. What happens when you get X-rayed, man? It's just like a little little empty space in your hand. That's how science works, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I went to school for theater. I don't know, man.
You went to school in Hofstra. That was in Long Island, which is close enough to Queens to know that you didn't get that great of an education.
Yeah, no.
And the only reason I know that is because I looked at a Google map before this show.
Yeah. I took a.
If you would have told me Hofstra, I would say, what is that? Because you're from New Hampshire, I'd say,
Yeah.
It's New Jersey, right? I don't know.
Oh,
New Jersey. They call that the Garden State, don't they?
Yeah, the Garden State.
Why couldn't they cultivate, like the best comedian ever cultivated in that garden was Chris Christie. It's horrible.
It should just be like, I don't know. It's like more like the beer garden state. I don't even
like
know.
Like lower New York. Just
yeah.
Manhattan Minor.
Right.
Did you ever spend any time in New York? Because I know that there's a lot of theater scene in there. Did you ever spend any time with people from NYU? Because if you're still doing the big break, I automatically know that you're still passionate about acting. So
yeah.
If the big break fails, what if you don't get anything from it other than, hey, I saw you on TV once there, Bob. what next? Are you gonna stick more with comedy, or are you gonna lay heavy on the thespian side? Or are you gonna do more sketches? What's kind of the next 6 months for you?
The next 6 months for me. That's a really great question, man. I mean, if the
that's all I have.
Yeah, that's
questions.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if the big break doesn't pan out. I can always, I'm still doing a lot of film. I've actually gotten a lot of film work since I've been out here in LA, which I'm very very grateful for. But I definitely I want to do a lot more writing. I've been writing all these sketches. Like I have a whole like folder of sketches that I've written now, and I got to get out there and like film them. That's what I need to do. So I have a lot of content. Because when I moved out here, everything was closed. There wasn't a lot open. So I was like, I'm going to write a bunch of stuff so that once everything is open, I'm ready to go. Sure. So, I have plenty of content going on, and I'm sure, I'll pick up more projects in the future. So even if the big break doesn't pan out, I'm not worried about it.
That's good.
Yeah.
But you want the big break to plan.
Oh, for sure.
Because you invested the time. You're in it this far.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't just drop out, obviously.
Oh, no. I'm not going to.
You have to dedicate yourself to it. So I've never been a reality TV star like Mr. Lucier here has. How many days a week are you guys filming? Are you allowed to say anything like that? Like what do you do? Do you just wait for them to call you, or do you have a schedule?
It's so we're actually we're in post-production now. Everything has been, season 1 is all filmed and all set, and they're just working on editing and everything. But I came in for like a few different, like I think 3 or 4, because we were rehearsing all week. So I came in for like 3 or 4 rehearsals a week, and during that time there were like constantly people walking around us filming while we're doing these scenes. And then when we were on breaks, they'd take us in and we do confessionals. But it wasn't too long. It was like, I think it was only like 3 weeks of of work.
I feel like the confessionals are the weirdest part of it.
They're so weird.
I'm in the real world. Or something like that on MTV where someone just sticks a camera in front of you. Is there someone in there asking you questions, or you just go in and start blabbering?
Yeah, so there, at least in our production, someone was asking us questions to kind of like spark off, and then from that we kind of like started conversation. I know the girl who's my scene partner, like one of the other contestants like didn't follow her back on like Instagram or something. So she just went off on that. They got to create the drama somehow. They got to make it interesting. Woo! Yeah.
Drama alert.
So she was kind of that side of it, and then like I said earlier, like I was more of that kind of like sweet, like, oh, we're working so hard in this project, and I'm loving the experience. It's so great. Thank you.
The soundboard loves you, my
Yeah.
friend, as well as everybody else on the show. But, so they purposely create the drama. Or the people asking the questions, do they purposely create the drama and say, that Becky is a backstabbing bitch? Don't you think so?
Yeah, I mean, kind of in a way. I mean, this show I think is more. It's not aimed towards that like adult audience, like the Real World and everything like that. So it wasn't like oh, that woman bitch. She was. It was more like like what was something that was like really frustrating at this moment, or like what was something that was a lot of fun. What was great. What was your experience working with this person? What was your experience working with that person? But they weren't trying to like stir the pot like they do with a lot of other shows.
So the big break doesn't pan out. 6 months. What's your 5-year plan with comedy? Do you want to sell a room out? Do you want to travel? Do you want to tour? Do you want to do USO shows?
Yeah, I would love to get more into comedy. I actually did a national tour in 2019 of A Christmas Carol, and I got to tour across the country, spreading like Christmas cheer to everybody. And that was such an amazing experience, being able to go across the country and, just entertaining people. Right. So if I can like take my comedy on the road, work my way up, I'm starting now, work my way to like the bar and the club scene, hopefully, something from that, I'll end up traveling, going to clubs all over the country, maybe even the world. But yeah, I want to continue to pursue comedy and do do what I can, do what I love. I couldn't see myself not doing something involved in comedy. So.
Well, I'll let you know when you start being funny. Trust me, I'll be.
Please do, please. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for that moment.
No, like I said, the last set that you had was killer, and you've had good sets before that, but this one just something resonated with not only me, but at the end of the show, we make the rounds and we talk to everybody in the audience. And during the show, we say, hey, hope you're having a good time. And your name came up just about with every person that we talked to. And so very highly rated performance, my friend. Go ahead and start blushing.
Yeah.
Put the rouge on to give a little blend.
I wish they actually laughed during the show. That would have been a lot better.
They did. They actually did. When we do playback with everything, when we do all that, we'll show you. You've got access to the D drive.
Yeah, it's hard to tell with the masks, it's so much scary. I mean, I didn't do too much stand up before before COVID hit, but it's so scary doing stand up with people wearing masks. It just looks like they're staring at you.
That's true. I didn't even think about that, because usually you can hear the laughter.
Yeah,
and you can just chuckling and smiling. You're not going to hear that, whereas it would be a visual aid. You're right.
Yeah.
About that.
And they just look like eyes. I feel like, so yeah, something about me, I can't do presentations. I like school presentations. I get super nervous and I like tense up, but I can get on stage just fine. Just presentations. It feels like a presentation to me. That's what stand up with masks feels like right now.
I mean, essentially it is. You're presenting your ideas to the court, and BT dubs, they get to judge you.
Yeah, you're not wrong at all.
Well, Jared, we've got the Val show coming up in a few weeks, 21st of February.
Woo!
I know you're only going to be able to stop in for a little bit, but I will be hosting the show. So if you all want me to bring you up in the realm of a rebel rouser, I'll be happy to. Sign up on a private show with other links where I can't talk about this one because we don't cross promote. But Jared, my friend, you are onto something. In case anybody doesn't know who Jared Lucier is, you will know him in the future. And it's because I'm going to blast the shit out of this podcast.
Yeah, baby.
He's going to be well known because of the big break. He's going to keep doing the Val show. He's going to keep doing other shows. He's going to keep doing his sketches, because real people who are passionate about it don't stop doing what they're passionate about.
They do not.
Lucier is very passionate. I've attached all of the links to the Patreon page and to the chat over here. So anybody watching the playback can find you. You are the Big Break reality TV show. You are part of the Thanks Mom comedy sketch group on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. You are Form A Jaramid with an @ sign in the middle at the front. Your website is jaredlucier.wixsite.com/website. Jared Lucier, you have 30 seconds to tell everybody why they should care, who you are, and where to find you.
All right, guys, you guys should care because I am going to be the #1 comedian in the world. I promise you that. Big promises. I'm making big promises right now. So when people look back at this, be like, this moment right here on the 101 podcast, that is what designated. That was the moment that he took his career to the top. No, but follow me on all of these. Check out all of the projects. I have more projects coming up. They'll all be on my website. Links to that on my website. But yeah, if you love comedy and you love to laugh, check all of my stuff out, please.
Jared Lucier, everybody. Episode 37 of the 101 podcast, where everyone is entitled to their own wrong opinion. I am your host, the Cuban Cowboy. Good call, Vinnie Paul. Jared Lucier, thank you again for coming. We're going to play out the song for 30 seconds, so stay on the line, and I want to finish this up. Thanks for coming on, buddy. It makes me wonder. Bye-bye.